We have quite the race for goal scoring. The race seems to be almost over for points. You know what's strange? So I've been looking at this more this year than normal. Assists. I'm Canadian, so I want to see everybody get an award. What if they gave out an award for leading the league in assists? Don't worry. The Sedins are done. You don't have to worry about Henrik ever winning an award again. I'm not creating this so that Henrik Sedin will get awards. His years as assist leaders are over. But if you look at the career of, say, Joe Thornton, who's one of the best passers we've seen ever, could there be an argument that, I don't know, you could call it the Gretzky Award? Because Gretzky really, while he had some tremendous, fantastic goals, when he got in his office, which was right behind the net, there was an assist coming. Because he was going to find somebody who was open in front of the net, and that puck was going to get buried. If you look at the names, you're not just giving this award to just nobody. And this is also a segue into me talking about another players having a fantastic year. So for points, Kucherov has an 8-point lead right now on Gaudreau. I can't see Kucherov losing that. Gaudreau 68, Stamkos 67, and then with 66 points you have McDavid, Crosby, Malkin, Giroux, Kessel. That's a pretty good group that Kessel's in, isn't it? Ovechkin and Voracek with 65 points each. The next one down is Tavares with 63. Goals. So Ovechkin leads the way with 34. Malkin's come up now. He's got 32. Kucherov has 31. William Karlsson with 30. Now, just imagine for a second if I had mentioned to somebody at the start of the year, hey, William Karlsson's going to be top 5 in goals right around the trade deadline. I could have wagered whatever I wanted, right up to about $10 billion, and the guy I was talking to would have been like, yeah, sure, I'll take that bet. He's going to owe me $10 billion. Sagan, 29 goals. Tavares, 29 goals. Anders Lee with 29. Couturier with 28. Bergeron with 27. The curious thing there is, of course, they're both considered front runners for the Selke Trophy because of all the goals they're scoring. Besser with 27, and then Monahan's also tied with them with 27. Next up at 26, Austin Matthews does have 26, so I'll make sure I mention it. And in fewer games, so Matthews would be higher up. He wouldn't be, I don't think he'd be, at 30, but he'd probably be at 29 if he'd played every game. Assists, Voracek leads the way with 54. Gaudreau's next with 49. Then Wheeler with 47. Giroux 47. Crosby and Bailey also have 47. Barzal with 46, based on last night's game with 3 assists. Kucherov 45. Klingberg 45. Stamkos 44. So why bother with this? Well, see, it's simple. All 3 of these lists are of very talented players. The guy who leads the league in assists, Jakub Voracek, doesn't get recognized for that very often. And I get it. The sexy play is the goal. But there have been so many times where I look at a goal and go, that was a great pass. That goal was fantastic, but it was set up by a great pass. How many times have we seen it where you have a guy who scores 30 goals and you go, yeah, he got those points, but just think about the passes. Good example of that is Sidney Crosby. How many wingers have scored a bunch of goals because Crosby fed them the pass? So my argument is, I think assists are kind of underrated in the NHL. We get enamored with goals for obvious reasons. Ovechkin leading the way again. We get enamored with just overall points because that tells us who the best is, which is Kucherov right now with 76. But what about the assists? We don't always pay attention to it. Now, it's getting a lot of attention right now because Barzal's putting up a crazy number of assists when he's on. And what scares me with Matthew Barzal is he is probably going to put up, I'll say 60. The funny thing is, early on this season, I said I thought Barzal could score 60 assists, and there were commenters that said I was insane. Said, no, Barzal's not going to score 60 assists. Are you insane and crazy? Got 46. Anybody want to bet against him getting 14 the rest of the way? In what, 25 games? He can do that. Absolutely. The way he's been playing lately, he can do that. And with Brock's at 27. He'll probably end up with about, I'm guessing, 34 or 35. Really depends on how well his hand holds up. But either way. And this is where it's funny because people still talk about it being a 2-horse race between Besser and Barzal. even though Barzal has 62 points and Besser has, I think it's 49. I think it's 49 points for Besser. But if you look at points, Barzal's running away with it. Nobody's even close. But is it the fact that we don't respect assists enough? It's sort of like when I look at some of these advanced stats and I see, well, this guy gets assists, but they're second assists. Oh, okay. So he passed the puck to guy to pass the puck to score the goal. He's still on the score sheet. I'm serious. I really genuinely don't see why there's any differentiation between first assist and second assist. Did the guy who got the second assist pass it to a guy and it didn't get intercepted? Yep. Did he get the same point value for his secondary assist as the guy who got the primary assist? Yep. Should it matter? I don't see it that it matters. And I know I get it. People are trying to find anything they can to statistically prove that person A is better than person B. But I don't care how Voracek gets 54 assists. I don't care if he passes it to Giroux, who passes it to Couturier on a power play, and that's how the goal goes in. Voracek gets the assist. He should... Because here's the thing. You always hear that about Voracek, but how many goals by Ovechkin have just been him teeing off from the point? Or teeing off from the hash marks? And I don't see people saying, oh, well, yeah, Ovechkin got those goals, but Malkin's were prettier. So they're more important goals because they looked better. You know, or, well, they were more challenging in their nature. Or, you know, look down here and see Sean Monahan with 27 and say, well, yeah, Monahan got 27 and he's 10th on the list, but Monahan's goals are highlight reel every time. He undressed the defense and then he went in and deked the goalie out of his jockstrap. So clearly that's a better goal than the one that Ovechkin had, that he took the pass from Kuznetsov and he had an open net on the power play. So we're going to give more credit to Monahan than Ovechkin. See, and I say that, and yet I know somewhere somebody probably does that. I'm just taking a moment to let that sink in, that somebody's probably already doing that. Because we get obsessed with trying to figure out who's better all the time. And to me, if you lead the league in assists, and if you're going to finish with, I mean, what, Voracek could finish with 65 probably? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably 65. Maybe a little more. I'm just saying, I think sometimes we underestimate assists. Because when you look at the list of players, you've still got superstars all the way through. And you could see a guy like Blake Wheeler get a trophy for what he's done. And some recognition if he somehow comes through with assists. Because right now they're talking about Blake Wheeler and his goal scoring in Winnipeg, and he hasn't scored goals in recent weeks. Let me just take a quick look here. Wheeler has 14 goals in 57 games, but he has the 47 points, or 47 assists, so he has 66 points in 57 games. It's all a matter of perspective. 61 points, 57 games. It's all a matter of perspective. So you can look and say, well, Wheeler's not getting goals. You can look and say, well, Wheeler's got a lot of assists. So I'm just curious to know what you guys think. Are assists underrated in the NHL? And seriously, picking apart assists and whether they're primary, secondary, and how much ice time they get per assist, just give me the number. And to me, if you had a Gretzky Award for the assist leader, I really don't think you're watering down the awards. And I think it would be fun to track who has the most assists. And I think we would see guys at the end of their careers with trophies, and you go, hey, he led the league in assists 5 times. That's impressive. This guy led the league in assists 4 times. That's a pretty impressive record. Might just get them over the hump and into the Hall of Fame. The Selke trophies helped a couple guys get in the Hall of Fame, so you just never know. And at the very least, if the Selke hasn't got guys in the Hall, it has given guys more leverage for higher contracts and more respect from the fans for what they do defensively. So why not throw a Gretzky Award? Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And, hey, I like Voracek. I'm not necessarily a Flyers fan, but I like Voracek, I like Couturier, and I like Giroux. So, I'm not opposed to being a Flyers fan. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.